Welcome to The Perfect Exposure, where every episode we bring to you home industry experts where we discuss related topics. I'm your host, Meri Coons of Meri Light Photography, and I'm here today with... Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of The Perfect Exposure podcast.
I love that because my email is Agent Brenda 22.
Ooh, it's meant to be.
Twos.
Yeah, so last time you were on the show... You were not the second one to come in, I don't think. You were like 3 or 4.
I think so. I've moved up in the ranks.
Yes, you have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Everybody else was busy. Busy.
No, it's actually like I got to get Brenda in here before she's too busy because it's, spring market's coming.
That's true.
And I knew that you were going to pick up just as we are. And I was like, by the time...
I love the way you think.
That brings us to that topic. So actually think when we had you in here, it was probably right around this time last year, March, February, maybe.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was about a year ago.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
Time flies.
But yeah, everything's going by so
meshes
fast.
Together.
But I think we talked about goals and how to, how you deal with certain clients and things like that. But I feel like now it's like a little bit weird of a time with the market.
I'm using the W word a lot lately. Weird.
Weird. Okay. I was like,
it's the
world.
W world. No.
Yeah,
a lot of, how's
weird.
the market? Weird.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like we hear that days on market are up, yet we're running around crazy submitting offers because we're in multiple offers. So how can days on market be up when everything's going to multiple offers? So it's that whole data tells one thing and real life tells another story. And yeah.
Yeah, and you're really busy not making a lot of transactions happen.
Well, right. I mean, when you're right. Well, yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
When you're writing offers that don't get accepted, yeah, like those dreams are still active, and they're still out there, but they're not becoming reality yet.
Yeah.
So it continues to be a really, really challenging time to be a buyer. Because of all of that. And yes, there are ways to strategize and the whole who you work with matters and experience matters and all of that. But at the same time, only one person can buy a house. So when you have what I call, a good one, the good ones do go quickly. And what's a good one? You guys have heard it from me before, but the ones that have been properly prepared, priced, and promoted.
The
3 Ps, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a seller puts their time and energy into really preparing a place and decluttering and not even just taking that time and energy right before they list it, but they've been conscientious homeowners from the get-go. You can tell the difference. You know the difference when we meet for pictures.
Yeah.
Right. Like the home that was just prepped over the course of the past 3 weeks or the home that's been well maintained for the past 3 decades.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
I do think properly decluttering is a big part of that process. Like
that's huge.
Because when
you don't want to trip over it.
No, and I'll even ask people, how long have you been here? And it seems like a genuinely empathetic question, but I'm really wondering where are we going to...
How'd you collect all this stuff?
Where are we going to put all these things if the closets are full? And we can't have them in the photos because it's not going to show the floor or the space or...
Right. But and a lot of sellers are getting... for lack of a better word, sometimes they can be a little cocky. Like, I'm not going to prep my house.
Well, because the market's so weird, they think that they're going to get away with that. And they could get away with it. But do you want to get away with it?
Or do you want to maximize the equity in your house? Right.
Yes, exactly.
So a buyer will become paralyzed if there's too much stuff distracting them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they will spend time looking at your stuff.
Right.
Instead of... Does this floor plan work for me?
Right.
Does this location work for me? Are there any signs of weird maintenance things going on? Like you don't want them reading all the things on your bookshelves and looking at all your family pictures. And, some of that's okay.
You want to see that it's lived in, but you don't want to be like thinking
you don't
about
want to be distracted.
This. Yeah.
Or tripping.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a whole. We've seen it all. I see so many things. Sometimes I'll go to like a 3-family home where like the tenants have completely trashed the place, and then that same day I'm at like a $2 million condo where everything is completely staged and pristine and perfect. I feel like I dirtied the place just by walking in,
My mere
leaving that,
presence.
or just after leaving some of the properties, I'm like, "Oh, I got to shower." Like it's really bad sometimes. And it really does leave an impression, even if it's just a little bit of clean clutter.
Right.
It really does make an impression. But I think you're right, though. I think buyers are confident, or sellers are confident, and that is
Sometimes too confident.
yeah, that's not. And I'm saying that in a nice way, like.
Yeah.
And I don't see it a lot on my end, because if I'm already there, that means that they have listened to their realtor
Right.
to get the home mostly ready, and that because they're going to have pictures. And but I definitely see that you can have the upper hand in a situation, but also really take advantage of the situation by preparing properly and
Oh, absolutely.
pricing it right. See, a lot of people are trying to price too high, and I think that's what it is. A lot of people are pressuring their, like, whoever, their agent or whatever, to price high because they feel like they are at an advantage. But
Right. And they feel like if they price it higher, they won't be leaving money on the table by pricing. You know, every home, asking price is a market position.
Yeah.
Okay. It's when we suggest a price, it's usually within a range, because really we're looking for the market to determine that value.
It's the response.
Right, the market response.
Yeah.
But we want a market position that's going to generate that ideal market response that then gets translated into phenomenal offers.
Right. And then
that aren't just price,
potential
it's
bidding
terms
wars
also.
and
Right,
desirability and
right.
it's a whole strategy that I would, and like anytime I can back up one of my clients in this strategy, because I'll hear like the huffing and puffing, like, so this is where I think, a lot of times I'm there during the actual appointment, right? Where they're signing the paperwork and they're discussing the price point. And I try to keep my mouth shut, because I'm not there to negotiate or ruin anything.
Yeah.
But I'm like silently going, please listen to your agent. And then like the husband or the wife or whomever is like, well, we really wanted, and then I'll hear the agent be like, well, that's when multiple offers comes in. And I'm like,
and multiple offers are fun, but we have to, fun.
You want the right one.
I say fun. I say fun.
This is fun.
Italicized and in quotes. It's fun for a seller to see that more than one person wants their house.
Yeah.
It's fun for a seller to have choices. But only one person can buy your house.
Right.
I do think that many sellers are wrapped up in the goal of multiple offers, when really they need to be wrapped up in how can we best prepare this house and attract the right buyer.
Yeah. And that's so many different things.
And it's so that we can smoothly come to terms and get to the finish line.
Right. Yeah.
Because also with all of the emotions with multiple offers, can become quite emotional roller coaster rides from contract to closing also.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, if you have buyers who are, paying a significant amount of money over asking, well, their expectations during inspection might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Then it's so there's a whole lot going on these days.
And that's why experience matters.
Experience does
especially when things are weird.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Things are super weird. And we were just talking about this before, and actually I have a very positive outlook. 2 days ago, not such a good outlook. I was like, we're all going to go bankrupt. I got to sell my house. Who am I going to pick for my realtor? I'm just kidding. But like, you worry about all the what ifs when things are so uncertain and your job relies on the real estate market and the economy and things of that nature. But I have been looking at data and historical data also. Being that we're in weird times and things are somewhat unprecedented, but they aren't all. They're just not all happening. They weren't. There's not a lot of times where a lot of these certain things are happening at the same time.
Right.
But when you go back and you look, and you also look at the last few years, like only from my perspective as far as volume goes, because my volume's different than your volume, right? I'm seeing we had a record January, a record bad February,
Right.
and a very slow increase in March. And in this region, and I feel like this winter just did a number on us.
It did.
Like
Right.
mentally and financially. Like people aren't going to be ready because they're still.
It's a slow start this year.
Yeah, they're still clearing their. Like I was just in Fort Johnson yesterday.
All right.
And
Still
then North
snow.
Creek, snow everywhere and
Right.
sand and dirt everywhere. And they're just, people are like, I'm so tired from all that. Like,
Right.
so-
Remember spring?
Yeah.
We had 3
We
days.
did- yes.
Remember those
Jeez.
3 days?
It's like, I
They
miss
were
that. I miss
great.
that.
I miss that. Yeah.
Yeah, that made me feel hopeful. And then this weather came again and people pulled back.
Right.
Interest rates went up a little and doomsday, dreams were happening. So, but I'm seeing more inquiries from my regular people, and I'm seeing new people with listings.
cool.
So my hope is elevated today, and
Yay, it's a good day.
Yeah, I think that that is a good indicator though that it's like the start of something. Though if you look at January, that was the start of something and then it stopped. So anything goes.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I'm that dork that tracks the data on my handwritten sheet at my desk, and I just looking at single family sales in our capital region multiple listing service, which we have to realize the territory of that also. Like we're going up to Warren, Washington County, we're going out Fulton, Montgomery County and beyond, we're going south of Albany. Like it's a lot of square miles, right? So on January 2nd, again, I'm the dork that knows this, there was 1,750 single-family homes for sale. That includes homes that had not yet been constructed, new construction. Today, we're in the 1,500s. Like I think this morning it was 1,544. But earlier in the week, it was at 1,519. So it's interesting to see, like, we have less options for buyers. But again, the good ones are getting quickly absorbed.
Yes.
We're still in that imbalance of supply versus demand, which then makes us label it a seller's market. But we've already established that sellers, you can't be too cocky about that.
Right.
Because buyers are savvy and buyers are choosy and they're going to be spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're not just going to buy your house because they need a house.
Yeah.
Right? They're at this point, they're like, you know what? I've been a year in my lease.
Waiting.
I've been waiting. I'm gonna make sure I find the right one.
Yeah.
Right. And that does make sense.
The way I see the market right now is a lot of people say there's nothing out there. The truth is there is, but it goes so fast that it's not really it's not going to end
on
up
your radar for very long.
Yeah, so it's like filling up the sand bucket with a hole in the bottom.
Exactly. Right. Oh yeah, that's a great analogy.
It's like, and then you're like, I just want,
right.
there it goes.
That's a phenomenal analogy.
Yeah.
And I was actually speaking to I'll call her one of my more mature buyers on the way here. And she said, when she bought her first house a while ago, her agent told her, you need to go see it 3 times. Because once, you have stars in your eye, and the second time you're figuring out the furniture, and the third time you're really figuring it out. You don't have that opportunity now. We're often asking you to make a decision about what's often your life's biggest purchase within hours. Like I wake up in the morning, I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner, let alone am I buying this house or not. But those are the limited time frames we're asking people to make these big decisions.
So I bought my first house in 2008. And my real estate agent said, if you want to go see it, bring your checkbook.
Yeah. And you're like, what?
We got it. Short sale.
Oh, wow.
We waited 6 months.
It's a whole other topic, listeners.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm traumatized by that. I was, as a buyer, it was crazy. It was a vacant property around the corner from my apartment.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I could have been
Right,
living
you could
there.
have been living there.
And
Instead,
they
you're gonna just
actually
watch it be vacant.
they
Yeah.
signed a waiver so we could move in because I was about to have my baby.
What? Wow.
They said
Somebody was looking out for you.
you can't change anything in the house.
Right.
You
but
can mow the lawn.
You'll have shelter.
Yes. So I was able to, but then when we went to close, the seller didn't show.
Really?
Yeah. So my ex-husband, who he was my power of attorney,
Yeah.
and my agent got his lawyer on the phone, and it was somehow we lived there for 11 years, like by the skin of our
Wow.
teeth. But that reminds me of this market right now, like, but not as bad economically, I don't think. 2008, 2009 was right
that was
about the crash.
And that was a crash that a lot of people over the course of the past few years, it's going to crash, it's going to crash. And it's not going to crash.
Yeah.
Because that was a lending problem.
Yeah.
This is a supply problem.
Yeah.
And
it's a different,
right.
Yeah,
As I tell
it's a different
people
beast.
all the time, like the $16 cheeseburger, it's here to stay. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
like your $500,000 homes.
exactly. With every
Yeah.
logged appraisal, that value is being established, and as long
Yeah.
as we are in that imbalance of supply versus demand, it's here to stay. Now, the really cool part about the capital region is that we're pretty steady Eddie around here. You know,
Don't tell other photographers that.
Yeah,
They'll move here.
Yeah, no. It's horrible.
Yeah.
The highs are high, the lows are low.
It's feast or famine.
Right, exactly.
Stay out of my area. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Meri's territory.
Yeah, it'll be all right. No, yeah.
But, you know, and within the context of a what we'll call pretty stable area, because of government, healthcare, and education.
Three big cities or three cities.
Right,
Small
right.
Albany is small, but they're
yeah.
all separate but together.
Right.
And then
right.
the suburbs are, and then we have tourist area, and
exactly. So it all
then
kind of
even more
feeds us
touristy
to
area.
Yeah, to not have those highs and lows that some of the other like you see in like Texas, for example. But also we have to remember real estate never sleeps, right? There's never a time when it's a big zero across the board where there were no transactions because of things like diplomas, babies, divorces, relocations, right? We call it the D's, diplomas, divorce, diamonds, diapers, I forget the rest of it. Anyway, life's big changes, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we think of big transitions within our lifetime, that usually involves needing to buy or sell a house.
Right.
And those things are not going to change.
Yeah.
We have challenges right now because of, you know, homeowners that are sitting on either no mortgage or really, really low mortgages. And then in the context of these higher prices, they're like, well, where am I going to go?
Right, and their mortgage rates, like if they were smart or had the opportunity to refinance, or even if they needed a bigger home, they're contemplating whether or not it'll be worth it.
But like, think about that. Rent is 100% interest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not gaining any equity.
No.
No way, no how. So 6%, even 7%.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've heard my parents talk about interest rates in the teens. Can you even imagine?
No.
Like that's like credit card interest rates.
Ours was 8 something in 2008.
Yeah, I remember being excited about 8%, and then we refinanced like 6%, and then we're one of those people that are screwing up the market now. You know, we got the 2.25. Yeah, exactly. But we were still able to buy and build equity.
Yeah.
And also, like, depending on your life chapter, most people are going to buy a house and stay in it for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Most people don't typically, unless there's something really, really not planned for. You're not going to turn around in 2-3 years.
Right.
Right? So everybody is so focused on this interest rate that it's like, just buy that.
Yes. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, rent is 100%
What are you waiting for?
interest.
Yeah. And then
Right, because year over year, prices are up, right?
Yeah.
So
I can
you
remember,
wait 2 years.
Yeah. No, and I remember feeling like all I want is my own house.
Right.
However I need to get it.
Yeah.
Because I want to, like, if I'm going to fix or paint something, even if my landlord's cool with it, that's going
want it to
to
be mine.
his. Yeah. Even if he doesn't like it, it's still my money, right?
Right. You're fixing his property.
Yeah. So
or hers.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember thinking I just need or want something of my own.
Right.
No matter how, like, if I had to work part-time or my husband had to work a full-time job and part-time.
Yeah.
Because then it's the yard, the kid, like, we don't have to worry about upstairs or downstairs or next door or the thumping on the ceiling or calling the maintenance man and not hearing back for 2 days or something. It's like, I can Band-Aid this.
Yeah.
This is my house.
There are situations where, okay, yeah, we need to rent. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate part now is we're sitting here telling people how great it is to be a homeowner. Like,
they can't get one.
Inventory's still limited.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. I feel like we need to tell them. So it's not going to be, I don't think it's ever going to be like, oh my God, so many houses. Like, it's not going to be.
I don't think we're ever going to get back to that.
But I do. But it's coming, and you have to work with the right person.
And you have to understand what's happening in the market so that you can best position your mindset. This is probably not going to be a one and done kind of thing.
Right.
But it also depends on where you're looking.
Right.
There are some people that have a lot of choices now based on where they're looking. There are some people who, are trying time and time again because everybody's looking in that area.
Yep.
So it's really sitting down and talking about what you want, talking about what you need, but also I think that conversation has to be had about what could you maybe live with to get the place that will meet, I don't know, what's realistic? 80% of the vision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then make it your own. Or it's the stepping stone to get you out of rental situation or maybe to get you where you need to go so your kids can go to that school or,
Which cracks me up. So a lot of people, I want to buy a school in this school district. Whatever. Do you have children?
No.
Don't have kids. So I'm going to state the obvious. First, we have to have the kid.
Yeah.
So that's 40 weeks gestation, right?
And then there's
and then
five
years. Birthdays.
Yeah.
And have we ever met a kindergarten that's really that bad?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So that's always funny to me. I'm like, are you sure we really have to just look at that school district? So anyway, that's kind of
it's down the road. Yeah, it's a good intention.
Exactly.
It's a really good. I mean, I definitely didn't think of it that way.
Right?
Yeah, I was just like, I want a house.
Yeah, and I've been doing this. It'll be it's my old lady clause here. I'll be doing this almost 17 years this summer. I've had one person say, we are buying our forever home. And they actually did.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's really cool.
It's rare though.
It's very, very rare. And so I think people need to realize it's okay to not buy your forever home. It's okay to go someplace, build equity, because if you're lucky, you get equity. You've heard my lunch story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we made less than $200 on our first house, had a really great lunch, and moved on. But at least we didn't have to bring money to the table.
Right.
And that was a timing thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is a weird market. We have to validate that, I think, but then also like
but you have to work with it because it is what it is.
Yeah.
So if you want the house, we can help your goal of homeownership become reality. We have to work with it though.
Yeah, maybe that is our theme for this year.
Work with it. All these W's.
Yeah.
Weird.
When it's weird, work with it.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, I do embrace weird. I kind of love weird.
Weird's fun.
People think I'm a little weird, but it's good.
Weird. My maiden name's Quirk, so
it's literally your name.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my name is Meri, so I'm a Meri weird person. Happy and weird. Can't really say no to that.
No.
But no. Yeah, no, I think I'm more positive than I was a few days ago. I think that people are getting their way there.
There are a lot of places that a lot of homeowners are getting their homes ready for the market. And I think you're absolutely right. You said it a few minutes ago. The weather, strange as it is,
it makes a big deal.
Right. If nobody like has to move right now, like if their move is more of a, we want to move this year.
Right.
We want to move closer to the grandkids. We want to move south. They're going to wait a little bit.
I mean, I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to not sit in front of my fireplace on a crappy day and like
and
just be like, I don't want to do all that right now.
I don't want to go get my yard ready because it's cold outside.
And the dog pooped there all winter.
Exactly.
And I just melted the snow.
Exactly. So I think as true spring arrives, we will...
Second or third spring.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Friday the 20th is the official spring, right?
Yeah. And next week for me, I'm personally almost booked up.
That's awesome.
And I hadn't even started to plug in the rest of the gang,
That's
really.
Awesome.
So I think, and that has not been, it's Thursday. Yep. So like, and my regulars haven't even chimed in for next week.
Yep.
So I feel like for me, that is a good indicator of at least a solid, maybe not a 2021 spring market or a 2020. I think 2021 was the first year where March was the busiest month of the entire year for me. March.
I mean, think of the time.
I'm like, but then now it's like June or May. And then I actually had an October be the strongest for us.
And that makes sense because October, there's still time for people to get in for the holidays.
And they're pushing and pushing.
Right.
But like last year, we were working right up until Christmas.
Yeah.
Last year was really, it was strong. But I don't know. So volume-wise, we're doing better. But like people are spending more money on marketing now than they were, which you'd think
that's interesting.
they would do, because I've also showed up to appointments where they were like, well, we already sold it, but come take pictures anyway because we feel like we wasted your time. Off-market properties because there's such a demand. Right. But we're at 50% increase from last year to date.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, but that's not really, it's really us. It's really people working hard to sell and market their properties.
Well, I think sellers deserve that.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I am baffled by sellers that will give their business to people who aren't utilizing professional promotions.
Yeah, I think
like that's weird to me.
It's super important. Your
biggest asset.
Yeah.
And let's just like YOLO it.
Yeah. I think it's tough. I think it's hard because like that cocky attitude of like, well, my house is worth so much and there's nothing out here. Like there's an emotional, not only just statistically is there maybe not anything out there like that, but this is the home they've been living in. They don't really want to let it go. They think it's worth way more than what it actually could go for. Or they think it's worth so much so they're going to ask for more when that's not necessarily the right strategy. So if it's that desirable, we only need a few pictures. And I've heard that before too. Yeah, and it's like, but you know, and like I'm willing to work with people on what they need, what they think they need even.
Well, right. But think about it.
But
I mean, everybody looks like, right? I'm not even going to say like 95%.
No, it's like, all online.
Everyone is looking online. Like every single day, people are saying, I scroll on, all those sites.
Yeah, and you want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like you want to know.
Right.
So that you're not wasting anyone's time. Yours, your agents, or the buyer.
Right.
If you don't see at least a hint of what's going on over there.
Exactly. Because I do think, too, there's some some buyers will think if they don't see a picture, like I saw no pictures of the basement, they automatically jump to the basement must be a nightmare.
It's flooded. There's rats.
And I'm like, nope.
It just wasn't as pretty as the rest of the house. And it could be a good basement.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I usually, people will say, oh, I don't need any in the basement. And I'm like, they're like, oh, I'll just take one of my cell phone. And I'm like, but I'm here. You know, let me do it.
Take one or two just to show them that it's not a dungeon.
Basements are it's like the what do you call it? A foot of the house? Like, no, the foot's too important. Foundation. No, but like thinking of like a body, because like when I think of like the heart, the kitchen is the heart of the home,
right?
And then like,
of course, I'm not going to think of the right word.
Yeah.
However, when I do have my buyer's agent hat on and we see all the pretty areas, I'm like, okay,
let's go to the
basement because the basement will tell the true. Will it tell the true story?
It tells a story.
It does tell a story about the integrity of everything else that you looked at.
I saw a beautiful historical home that our alarm's going to go off because we can keep talking forever. But hold on, it's going to get there before I stop it. But we'll end it after this. If I can stop it, it's going to be loud. Kevin, be prepared. But it will stop. This happened too with Carrie, our first podcaster of the season. It eventually stops. So there we go.
That's fun.
But it is a good reminder, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going on and on. Beautiful historical home in Athens. Like I've never seen before. It looked like a Disney set.
Oh, cool.
It was super colorful. It had like this long porch and like detail, looked like an old carriage house, like straight out of a movie.
Yeah.
And I walked in and the agent was like, "So you like it, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "So what is the big question you have on your mind right now if you were a buyer?" And I said, "Let's go down to the basement." We went down to the basement and the guy engineered his own water filtration system, and there were barrels and barrels of fresh water and he was like an engineer, like super genius engineer.
Really?
And then the electrical stuff was it was amazing. Like the way he explained it to me, I couldn't even understand it, but it was pristine. It was an old dirt basement, but
isn't that amazing?
Perfection. So, but if I were to buy
a message,
yes,
right?
Exactly. So imagine that would be and what are the utilities like in a home like that?
Right.
And he broke it down for me, and I was like, whoa, like it's really efficient here. And he's like, oh yeah, double pane windows, blah 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 blah. Like he went over everything.
Right.
But you're right. Basements tell an important part of the story.
They do.
And if you don't investigate and you follow with your heart, you can end up in a
it's like
bad
sitting down and having the conversation with great grandpa, right?
Yeah.
Great grandpa's going to really tell you the deal about the family.
Yeah. Sometimes he did.
I don't know where that came from.
No, but it's true. I love those analogies because people need to make it relatable. Like if they've never purchased a house or went through a market like this before, and you've been doing this for 17 years and you're in it as an experienced agent, you have to tell them these things in a way that they can take their emotions and go, yeah, you're right. You know, otherwise, I would have been guilty of it if I hadn't been purchasing homes or looking at homes in the past, of falling in love with something that A, wasn't affordable to us or would have been like put us in the red zone, B, put us bankrupt with all the people are still waiving inspections.
Not as much anymore. Not as much.
They're doing it less?
They are doing it less.
That's good because I'm still hearing hubbub of like cash offers waiving inspections.
It happens.
I'm like, that's a big
It is
That's
happening.
a big leap of faith. We'll put it that way.
It is a big leap of faith. And there, it's a
Some people can afford to do that, I guess. Right?
I guess. Or, I do think that the house needs to be considered and the buyer's knowledge level and resources need to be considered.
They could be a contractor,
They
or
might
an
be.
architect,
Exactly.
or a plumber, electrician,
Right.
and they know exactly what's wrong with the house just
Right.
by looking at it or whatever.
But that's where also sellers need to understand before they list their house, like the things that their home will be subjected to, right?
Yep.
They need to understand that redoing their kitchen back in 1985 is
Not a redone
just
kitchen. But
we
it time
just
goes by so
remodeled.
fast,
It
Brenda.
does. It does. Yeah, it does.
We just put a roof on 20 years ago.
Right. I'm like, hold on. 20 years ago. That was not just,
I love when I see you go through and you're like, you'll see something, you're like, huh, how long has that been there? Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And then, I'm like, just gonna keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so
because
funny.
you're right. Time does fly.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so just like both sides having that time out and understanding, like I think a lot of sellers too, when they bought a house, the home buying experience was very different. You know, they we had to have 20% down. We, you know, it had to pass code. It had to this, it had to that.
Yeah. It's all different.
It's all different.
And it changes all the time. It
does.
We bought a house, $500 down. They gave us $8,000 from the American Dream program.
Cool. Nice.
So we could afford the house, essentially.
Yeah,
they were like, let's put people in homes. So you never know. You never know. I mean,
right.
I don't think there's anything like that right now, but there's stuff out there for like veterans and teachers and there's there's certain programs and so you should always check with a lender.
Always
right?
check with your lender.
Always
right,
check.
Right.
You never know.
And it's like with any professional, right?
Yeah.
Whatever we're doing, the people who do it every day
yeah.
should be your best resources, right?
Yes.
Like I'm not going to try to figure out, I don't know. I can't. The analogy is escaping me, but
right? I'm not going to figure out.
I'm not going to do my own dental work.
Definitely not. That's some like castaway stuff there.
Right.
Get me a nice skate. I'll figure it out.